Hey, welcome to Outbound Podcast. I'm Perseus, and I'm joined by,
Sage, what's up, guys?
and we are taking a quick look at some of the ships that are out already, um, that are going to be available or presumed available on the first day of ILW. We're going to take a quick look at the manufacturers that are um, presenting in the middle of with ILW, and that's going to be we're going to be looking at Greycat and Aegis Dynamics.
Greycat is the Versa's premier industrial manufacturer. They make the handy dandy pyro multi-tool, as well as many of the mining equipment that we use in our wonderful game here.
And we're gonna just get started with them. I mean, they've only got four. They're coming out with the fifth one. It's presumed by a lot of people that it will actually be revealed. Is another ground vehicle. It's like a mobile command center. Um, but we first thing that we got up is a little dune buggy. The PTV. It's not a dune, but it's a little golf cart. It's got cute little headlights. Um, it's only $15 if we'll go to the store page. Yeah, and
It's fun to drive. If you go on Microtech, there's actually a racetrack, a PTV racetrack. You can run a little go-kart track in a PTV. It's a lot of fun.
we got to switch the page there. See, so we can show
Oh shit, my bad. There you go.
it. And it's a little thing. I think it'll fit in pretty much any ship, really. I think it even fits. I put this in my Avenger Titan, um, and you can have a size four box in the back, and then put that in the rear. Just if you want to land, and then just drive to a bunker or something, you can have this. Just a little thing. Um,
It's fun
you've
to
got
drive. Very easy to tip over. You gotta be careful with that thing. It goes pretty fast. If you take a tight turn, you can roll it.
you've got a rock. Um, pretty standard. I don't think anyone would buy it. I don't really think you should buy it with real money though.
Yeah,
You can buy it for like 75K in game.
very cheap in
Um,
game.
yeah,
Can fit in most vehicles that can take a vehicle. So I mean, you can put them in Connies. You can put it in a Cutlass. Um, I think you can almost squeeze one inside of. You can't put it inside of a Titan, but I believe you can almost squeeze one inside of a Cutter.
I think you can put it in a cutter. I'm pretty sure you can squeeze that into the cutter, and other small starters. Um, I actually like the STV. I think I've put this on my Zeus. So um, it's a convenient size little buggy for um, starting starting little ships. Uh, just had there we go. Just a little bit bigger than the PTV and a little bit smaller than the Rock. So a lot of ships will be able to squeeze that in, and it's convenient. Just if you want to do a bunker, you've got a smaller ship. This will get you over there. You just drive over there real quick if you don't want to deal with turrets, and away you go. This little thing is
So
it's a meme, isn't it?
yes, it is. All right. So, being somebody that has a fair amount of experience actually driving a rock, that was actually the first vehicle I bought when I actually started playing the game seriously, because I have a Connie, and I was really fascinated with the giving mining a shot, and I was driving around doing the gym mining, which is actually a lot of good fun when it works. It's better now than it used to be. It used to crack the rocks, and sometimes the gems would fall through the planet, but they fixed that for the most part. But there's really no difference between the Rock and the Rock DS, other than one takes one person to man and one takes two people to man, which is a little pointless really, because the DS is little.
It's
You just have one
always
driver
been very confusing.
and then one guy sitting in the turret. Which, I mean, you have a little bit of range of vision on the mining turret, but in the DS, but it's just overall bigger, and you don't really gain anything from having two people compared to the one. You may as well just have two people operating the single seat rock, rather than having the DS. So you're not really getting anything out of it. But the rock gameplay loop is a lot of fun. It's definitely a good intro into mining if you want to figure it out and not have to deal with the tedium of doing like hand mining or a bigger ship. It can be pretty fun just throwing one of those in the back of a ship and going to land in somewhere like Aberdeen or on Yella and just driving around and cracking rocks. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a little confused though to have that.
yeah, yeah. I
The
still don't get
it's
it.
so strange in it.
It's definitely a
But
meme.
I, I think what everyone's going to look forward to from Greycat is going to be that new vehicle that's supposed to come out,
Yeah,
the mobile command center.
some kind of
We'll
command
see
center. Yeah,
what that even means
right.
because there's very limited information on what that actually is.
At SitCon last year, they were showing off a like a base construction vehicle that was also a Grey Cat, that was like in concept, and I'm wondering if it's something related to that. Don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but it could be the start down that road. So we'll see what it goes to. Next up is Aegis Dynamics, the one of the oldest military manufacturers in the UEE, one of the known for doing a lot of their official military aircraft and stuff, and a lot of their capital ships and larger ships as well. Um, they are, yeah, I mean, they're definitely one of the older ones. It was dates back to the Meza regime, and it was founded during one of the darker parts of the UE history. But they've grown past that and just consistently made some pretty wild ships over the years. And we're gonna go through some of those with you guys.
Yeah, so we've got the Stalker series, right? Avenger series, I guess I should say. Stalker. um, the Stalker, the Titan, the Renegade, and the Warlock. I think there's a pirate one. No, that must be a different one.
Yeah,
It's just this is a special paint scheme. The Titan's got two of them.
yeah, I mean, the Titan is a great starter ship, and it's got some pretty cool variants to it. The Stalker is like a stealth variant to it, stealth fighter. It's quite quick, it just like the base Titan is. It has a little bit more maneuverability, if I remember correctly. Same thing with the Renegade and the Warlock. It's more interceptor tuned, so it's a much quicker ship, a little bit quicker than the base Titan, if I remember correctly. Um, hey, we're gonna pull up a comparator here. Let's see.
I I thought they were the same. Was it?
Yeah, I mean they are pretty much the same, aren't they?
I guess the red one's slightly better on shield pool.
Yeah, the big thing with the Warlock,
Yeah,
um, do they have a sig size comparison?
yeah, it's all the same.
Okay. So I know the main thing with the Warlock was it was originally built to be an interceptor because it's got the onboard EMP on it. EMP for a while wasn't super great, but since they've separated it into weapon groups with the new MFD system, it's actually a lot easier to use than it used to be. And you can actually disable somebody pretty quickly with it if you get up close and you pop that EMP at full charge a couple times. You'll disable their ship and put them
Yeah, you gotta get up to
dead.
like 700 meters
Yeah,
though, and
yeah, it's definitely a very close range thing. Hopefully the EMPs will see a little bit of a use adjustment because it's a cool concept. The old EMPs were overpowered as crap. I literally remember dogfighting one time at a jump town site, and my friend popped the EMP in atmosphere, and literally took out three ships as they just fell and crashed into the ground because they couldn't fly. So I mean, if it gets back to being that strong, it could be a cool ship. Moving on.
otherwise, I wouldn't even bother unless you're personally.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be buying them. I already got a starter. I
a
don't
lot.
need these in
Yeah,
terms of my focus, which is multiplayer gameplay.
if you
So
if you want to
yeah,
fiddle around with them, a lot of those are pretty cheap on the in-game stores. You can just get use it, buy it with in-game credits and then give it a shot. Um, the Eclipse
oh,
is a cool ship. It's a torp bomber. It's got that B2 stealth bomber look. Um, it's a very fragile ship. I put a fair amount of time flying it. It's only got two guns. You're not going to be dogfighting anybody in it, and it's got a very big cross section if somebody's looking at the top of you. And all it takes is a couple shots to rip one of those wings off, and you're in a real bad position. But it does have
it's
a
a stealth ship.
but it
So
does.
if you lose
Yeah,
stealth, you're fucked.
yeah,
Your whole point is you're a stealth bomber. You come in with the size 9 torpedo and you obliterate somebody if they don't see the torpedo coming slowly.
yeah.
um,
Uh, it,
and people will see them coming a mile away potentially if they're looking. So it's a single man option. You've got a lot of firepower. Personally, I don't mind considering having this
it's
in an org fleet.
would be nice to
It's
have
not in
as an
my fleet
option.
though.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely fun to try out. Very specialized, much like the A1 bomber. It's got its role, but it's not like an everyday ship for sure.
the Gladius is an extremely popular. It's pretty much everyone's got it rated in an S tier light fighter. I think it's the only light fighter that really is consistently in some of the people's PvP types. Uh,
Incredibly agile,
creating,
has a lot of firepower for the ship its size, and in the right hands is an absolute monster to deal with. Um,
yeah, I think that the keyword though is in the right hands. It's got a to bring it to the top tier where it can be takes. Some people have told me, oh, if you want to be the best in the Gladius, well, you need to put in the stick time and 10,000 deaths, get killed 10,000 times to get good in it. And that, frankly, that's a lot more time than I think a lot of people are going to be spending. I personally do have one in my fleet just because I'm trying to get better with it. But for the average person, it is a light fighter. If you
mis-
get sneezed on wrong, you're gonna fucking die.
yeah, yeah. Mistakes matter. If you take the wrong pass, wrong time, you turn the wrong direction and flatten yourself out. You lose one of those wings. You're in a flying coffin. That's literally yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't
That
take
said,
much.
it is very capable. It
Yes,
is absolutely capable. No bed, small little storage rack. But otherwise, it's a solid fighter.
it's not
Um,
technically a stealth fighter, but with stealth components, you can get that signature pretty small. With a good chaff and with its speed, you can slip out pretty easily. And that's what makes it so difficult to deal with. Not only is it fast, it's got a small EM sig, and it has a lot of firepower for a light craft in its size. So that it's got all that going for it, but all that hinges on you being able to absolutely capitalize on how mobile it is and how fast it can get away. Because if you stay in the fight even a second too long, you're gone. That's pretty much it.
but I pulled this off of actually it's right here. Pull this off the one of the wikis. Star Citizen tool, and you can just buy this in game for 2.3 if you want. Um,
Definitely worth it. Maybe
yeah,
not buying it straight up, but I mean, you can make that 2.3 mil in about 2 days of doing cargo missions and an industrial ship. So I mean, it's not necessary to buy some of this stuff with cash, but
yeah.
if you want to try it out, buy it in game and give it a shot. Um, it's put it in your arsenal, and the only downside to not buying it is that right now an arena commander is being able to rent ships in an arena commander is kind of a pain in the butt just because you need the arcade credits, which are separate, and right now the ships that you buy in game in the persistent universe don't show up in the arena commander. So they may do that
I'll,
eventually, which would be nice, but at the moment you can't.
I'll admit that's the primary reason I bought it is I wanted to have it in Arena Commander, so that's what I had to do to get it. All right,
Yeah,
Hammerhead. This is the variant is just it's another skin for it. But they made a whole new tab, I guess, for whatever reason. Hammerhead is an incredible multi cruise ship. I think it was the first capital they came out with. It's got I think it's all size 4 guns. And it's got a lot of them.
it
As you can see,
is
they're all quads.
It is an
Um,
armored anti-fighter screen machine, and that is what it is built to do. You stick that sucker right in the middle of somewhere, all those guns with repeaters pointing in every single direction. Any light fighter that gets within, 50 meters of that thing is gonna have a whole ass light show following them around.
yeah. Um, it's a pain when you run into these in the wild when you're doing bounties. If you're trying to do it solo. But I mean, if you have a crew, if you have a whole org, you have a crew, might consider picking one of these up. Um, what is this? I think it's actually one of the more valuable ones in terms of value. If you per dollar value per a for AUEC that you pick it up for. Um, so every dollar you spend on that, if you bought it with real money, is worth 66k AUEC. Um, but I mean, it's still an expensive ship. I mean, we're gonna get a lot of Aegis stuff is quite expensive. So you buy this if you've got a plan for it. Otherwise, what are you doing?
Yeah, role wise, that ship is made. Say, for example, if you have a larger fleet, like a capital ship, and you want to make sure that you keep like light fighters and bombers and even torpedoes, like away from the larger ship, you park one of those next to it and you let it do all the work, and that's pretty much what it's made for.
All right, we got the frigates. Um, Idris. I I personally don't know much about these, and I don't have no plans of flying, owning one myself personally. I think this is the one that's got the railgun,
Yep.
the Idris M. I think you can only buy these in a pack.
At the moment,
Um,
yes.
yeah,
Though
at the
there
moment.
are theories that for Invictus they may finally drop them. We'll see if that happens. They've said that they've been kind of keeping them in their pocket for the Squadron 42 launch, just because it's one of the main ships that you crew during the Squadron 42 campaign, and they don't want to give it away in the persistent universe until everybody's had the experience in the single player of enjoying that part.
Well,
So
I don't think that they would release it. They're not going to release it into the
yeah,
game.
yeah, not
They
for a
might make
while.
it purchasable sooner. I don't know, instead of make it as a standalone ship possibly.
Now
But right now you can only get it as a pack, and it's a
during
whole limited one.
during the Xenothreat event, there was part of that event was that you had to board it and kill everything inside of it, and you could hijack it. So we hijacked one and flew it around for a couple days. It was a lot of fun. We crammed it into a large hangar and it let us keep it for like 2 days, which was fun. But I mean, once it's put into the game, this is going to be the closest thing you're going to have to an actual carrier that you can have in players' hands. You can, if you stick um, you could stick probably about 4 to 5 gladiuses, stem to stern, if you tuck them really close inside that landing bay that goes through the middle of the ship. You can. It's got a lot of firepower on it. I mean, it's got as many guns as the Polaris, if not more. Plus the big railgun on the front. Plus it's got torpedoes. I think it's either torpedoes or size like 6 missiles or something like that. They're huge missiles. Um,
They're a little wonky right now on this page.
Yeah, there's
Um,
two. The P is different than the Idris A. The military version, I believe, has a different armaments. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, yeah, but
Um,
yeah, that's it for the Idris. They're multi cruise ships. It's right there. If you have a plan for them, then you're going to be much more involved. If you want one, and you want to crew one, you're going to have a whole bunch of people figuring out their roles and stuff. And it's not in the game right now, so whether you buy one right now, well, you can't really until it's whole limited content. It's tough to get. So if you've done a lot of research into these, if you plan on picking one up, is really the way it goes.
if you want to go
Um,
tour it around during Invictus, there's going to be one docked at ArcCorp Tower. You can go up to the top floor and you can go walk around and give it a tour.
Javelin, I think you can tour that one on Orson. I guess
It
is that
travels
right?
around. It travels around
Yeah,
from all the planets. If you go hang around each planetary station, you'll usually if you're standing in one of the stations, if you look around at some of the hollow screens that are around, it'll tell you actually what station that they're docked at, and you can go check it out.
yeah.
The Javelin is a destroyer class ship. It's torpedoes and very large guns, and it's meant to kill other capital ships. Um, it does have some fighter deploying. I think it's got a small hangar in it too, kind of like the Idris does as well.
Not available in game.
Definitely not available in
Um,
game. Won't be available for some time.
for some time. So yeah. Now we're into some of the I don't
some
know.
Some of this is
Some
concept. Yeah.
I guess we still have the Nautilus left. Never mind. The mine layer. This is years away. Mine gameplay is not coming anytime soon. Which is unfortunate. CIG needs to hurry it up, get this game developed and
A neat
shipped. But
concept, and I like the idea of it. Excuse me.
yeah,
Um,
I think it'll be available. I personally might pick up a CCU. Just from the I don't know what's further what the closest ship is going to be. Just but I'll just pick up the end and lock in the price. If available. Um, just to see what they end up coming out with in terms of mind gameplay. It does have two nice size 7 guns, so that's nothing to sneeze at. But
Definitely not meant to
yeah,
be an in combat ship. That's more one of those that's meant to just, it set up traps and defensive lines and stuff down the line. That won't be a thing, I think, until space infrastructure is a thing where we can anchor space stations and that kind of stuff, because it's a lot of the mechanics that are going to be around mines because they're going to have to persist in some way, shape, or
there
form.
is yeah, it's a very lot of unknowns about this ship, which
Yeah.
is maybe they'll come out with something at some point. Pirate Gladius is just a reskin of the other one. I don't know if there's anything special about it.
I think it just comes with different guns, and that's it.
Okay, yeah, so you can. I mean, you can just different guns. All right, yeah. I think it's just the same. Yeah, so it's all the same in terms of weapons. It just gives you something else to start with. Okay. The Reclaimer, um, big fat salvaging ship.
The original salvaging
Um,
ship, the Claw. Anyway,
yeah,
also
it,
one of the buggiest ships in the game, to be honest.
yeah, it's got a lot of problems.
It's come a
It's
long
a
way.
huge
They
ship.
they have finally started to work on some of it. They actually fixed the issue with the poop chute not opening up, so you can push all of the boxes out of it after you salvage stuff. It's got potential to be a very cool multi crew ship when it's finally all functioning, and they've kind of got the salvaging in a good place. And the time that I've had on it where it worked, and we were doing when CMATs were worth doing, and we were just crushing ships and loading big boxes and stuff and selling them, it was a lot of fun. Honestly, I some of the most fun I had doing multi-crew stuff in the game,
Yeah.
which is a real shame with how broken that ship is, and considering how much work they've done to the salvage loop since they put it in. I really hope they give this ship some love because it's really cool.
It's not good. I don't think it's going to be available in at ILW, but I did want to mention that it is one of the higher ships for dollar per AUEC you can get. So I think it's going to say it's top 5 in terms of value per dollar if you're considering acquiring this.
It's also a
Um,
money-making machine once you get it, so I mean, it literally
yeah.
prints AUC.
Personally, I'm not interested in salvage myself in terms of gameplay. So I'll go man it on somebody else's if I do end up doing that. But um, if you're into salvage, this is the biggest one. You crack your ships. Um, Redeemer. This should be available. It's going to be one of the ships that's coming. Should be available for purchase.
It's already
Uh,
available. It's actually been out for a
it's
while.
available in game, yeah, but it's going to
Um,
be
it used to be crazy overpowered with all the chain guns on it. The bespoke chain guns were very overtuned. It was they recently kind of nerfed it to kind of put it in a better role. Um, it was pretty tanky before and quite fast. They've reduced the hull points on it a little bit, but given it a little bit of a boost of mobility to kind of make room for where ships like the Valkyrie and the new Paladin are going to kind of fit in the gunship category, where they're the tankier versions, whereas the Redeemer is fast. So it's still a very capable ship. It's a fun multi-crew ship. It's got I think two turrets on the top, one on the bottom that can flip back and forth between the tail, and then the pilot has some guns too. Um, and it's got crew quarters in it and bunk beds, and it's even got a little kitchenette and like a living area in the back. It's quite a cool ship if you've got a little group of friends you want to run around with and bust some bounties with, and can be pretty formidable in the right hands in PvP. So I mean, it's a fun ship. Definitely a lot. a lot going for it. But if you want something a little beefier, then like the Valkyrie or the Paladin is probably going to be where you're going to end up.
Yeah, I would say that it's um I think people get this because first of all, I think it was nerfed for the right reason. It was too powerful. And that's just my
I
opinion.
agree. Yeah.
But I think the biggest problem with the Redeemer is its competition, which is a Starlancer attack, potentially, which we're anticipating coming out very soon at ILW. It's pretty much confirmed. They put out a video about it, so it's coming out. The attack is a, more of a gunboat, patrol boat, but they kind of occupy maybe a similar role. So I think we might have a video to see which ship applies at which purpose. But I think the TAC is more well equipped. Um,
That could be a
and it's interesting because it's the same price.
that could
It's 330 for each one.
that,
So we'll see.
that's a fun idea we could do for an org video. Do go out and do some bounties in a Redeemer, and then go out and do a couple bounties in the attack, and just see
Yeah.
how they compare. Yeah.
I think the tax art and the tac is my preferred favorite for our org. I think a lot of orgs are going to be using a lot of tacking. Um, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think you're probably right.
it's got so many features. So even if how can they nerf it necessarily? Because it's powerful because of its features.
Right.
Um, what are they going to do? Take out the hanger?
Right.
Yeah. We've got a Retaliator. It's a very interesting ship, but part of I mean, speaking of attack, it's interesting because I think people would much rather be in attack or even a Redeemer, than this thing. This thing is, I mean, we just saw it. It's got 7 crew slots, but who wants to be in this thing? And me manning size 3 guns instead of size 5s or size 6s on attack, or size 4s and size 5s on attack or something else. Like no one is going to be manning this thing. They're going to be on a Perseus when it comes out. And then
It's definitely a role specific ship. I think it kind of falls in the same category as the other torp boat, or the other torp ships like the Eclipse. Is that it's meant for killing capital ships. The gunner seats are more so for screening fighters to keep it from coming after you while you're trying to get your torps off. It is a larger ship though. It carries a pretty big payload, and um, the problem with the torp gameplay right now is if they see you coming, and also with the PDCs being as overtuned as they are, it's hard to get those torps off where they're going to actually hit, unless you have actually somebody in there trying to destroy the PDCs before you get the torps off. So in that case, you're just going to be circling, shooting things with the turrets, and there's a lot of ships that do that way better than the Retaliator does. So I mean,
yeah,
it's
there's a lot of problems with this
yeah,
ship, and problem number one even is it doesn't even come with torpedoes.
yeah,
It's in the it's all, it's
it
it's in the little screen. It's in the little picture, but
it was built
you
to
have
be
to pay another
modular.
50.
Yeah,
You know,
you can put a cargo module in it, or you can put. It's got 2 technical modules, and they're supposed to be adding more. I think was part of why it was.
yeah.
It
I
was
think, but
originally
in
billed as a
practice,
modular
it's
ship.
terrible.
Yeah,
It's really poorly implemented.
it was a good
First off,
concept. It was
they're not
never
out.
finished. Yeah, definitely an
They're
incomplete.
not out. There's more effective ships. The thing is, this is going to be a 2-man ship, if that. With the way they've implemented this game. So if you're considering purchasing it, maybe consider picking it up in game. I do have the hull. I did buy it. And I spent about maybe 4 million AUEC in game getting the modules. I didn't buy the modules at the time because I didn't know I had to. But it is available to the whole ship is available to purchase for about 8 million, and then you can buy the torpedo modules for about 2 million a piece.
Y-
I want to say
Yeah, I
in
think that's about
game,
right.
and I just equip them in the fleet manager. A saber.
Sabers are the base saber is good. It's a light fighter. it's got a decent gun loadout for a ship that's a light fighter. The main thing about it is that it is a stealth fighter, meaning that with stealth components, you can get the signature, both heat and EM, below 5 meters or 5 kilometers, which means that ship will not show up on your radar until it is up your butt. It is a very small ship. It is very quick, and it's very hard to catch on radar. The base version of it here has a fair amount of firepower for a ship in its size category, but the problem with it is it's tissue paper. It has more hull strength than, say, for example, um, a Hornet, but the shields are small on it, so a little bit of direct fire and it's already taken hull damage. So it definitely leans very hard into its ability to stay undetected and try to ambush things. But I mean, this ship in the right hands is scary, especially like the Firebird variant, which has the missiles. Because if you get that EM sig small enough, you can lock on those missiles, and all they will hear is the beep from the lock-on notification, and those missiles will slap them before they ever realize you're there. Yeah, it's we were doing an org op a couple of weeks ago where we were guarding one of the Hathor sites, and this one guy showed up in a Firebird and literally picked four of us before we could catch him, just by coming in very low to the ground, taking good use of his EM signature and keeping it small, and then hitting those missiles and just burning out of there. Um,
Yeah. One thing I wanted to say about this ship is it's incredibly effective right now, but
it won't be
the
forever.
problem is they haven't balanced this game to have counterplay. Like the missiles are essentially free because you just reclaim your ship and you get them for free. Um,
EM
the
missiles are
chaff
also over
is a lot of
200.
questions about how effective those are. The tuning for the missiles is a little bit of question right now. I think these are size threes. Yeah. And there's analysis on can this ship even, carry that many missiles if you look at the hull size and everything else. um, the the way detection and scanning is working there's a lot of questions on whether that's going to impact the viability of this. This is a very right now in the game it's very good because it's very easy to pick up.
It's definitely
It's a
considered
low
meta.
skill.
Yeah, it's low
It's a low
skill,
skill.
high ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think right now it's very good in the game.
I think in
Personally, I
the
have no interest in it because I don't plan on doing small fighters. Um, once they actually put multi-crew capabilities into this game, engineering comes online. I do question the effectiveness if you can just repair up your ship, even on the fly, and chase down these kinds of people. When they implement that capability with proper multiplayer gameplay.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be balanced out eventually. The other variants of it, the Comet is just another military variant of it. The only difference is kind of like the other Gladius variants. It's mostly just the skin. Um, Same thing with the Raven, I believe.
Peregrine is
Uh,
the racer one.
the racer version, and then I believe the Raven has an EMP. I think that's the difference on that one.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Though the Raven was a limited time sale, I don't think you can actually buy it right now.
EMP device. Yeah. I'm not sure if you can buy any of these right now, actually.
Yeah, usually they go on
Um,
sale around Invictus. So once the
right.
event
So
starts,
next
they'll end up
week or
going up.
so,
Yeah.
we'll see it soon. I think it's the Saber series is actually. I think the ship is actually quite pretty.
Yeah, definitely.
Myself,
The
I
cockpit design is actually really cool. Like it's well designed. Like it's one of
yeah.
the few ships that you can actually see all of the MFDs within your field of view. It's really well designed.
Can you buy the Peregrine in game right now? Looks like you can for 4 million somewhere.
Yeah, you can buy all of them. The same place you buy the Firebird. I think you get it from Hurston, I'm pretty sure.
Right. We've got the whole Vanguard series. It's a very interesting ship. But why don't we do the Vulcan first? Um, this is a. I think this is going to be one of the more common ships that we end up seeing when it does become available. I do think it'll be available at ILW personally because it is a combat support type ship. I think when did they put this out as a concept? It was a couple of years back now. It's been a few.
And it's been out for a while,
Um,
yeah.
it's going to have drones, which does make me wonder when it will come out. I don't think they've announced anything on development for it, but it's a repair, resupply, rearm, just general support ship for anybody that's hurt, I guess.
I mean,
So if you're in that
they
gameplay, I think that's where you end up starting out, really.
they mentioned drones when they were talking about the construction and stuff at Citizen Con. So drones are definitely on the mind and how they're gonna function. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that development this year at Citizen Con. They'll talk a little bit more about the drone system and stuff because there's a couple ships that are waiting on that right now. For example, the Carrack is supposed to have its own drones as well. So um,
It's even in the picture. Look, Chris, right there, little drone there and there,
yeah.
coming out to repair an eclipse. Couple gladiators in the back. um, I think I think it has a lot of potential. I do think once we learn more about it, it is gonna skyrocket in price as well. Well, I don't know if it's skyrocket, but I do expect it to go up in price, especially as we learn more about it. But just me. The Vanguard series, they're all heavy type fighters.
Mic on.
I personally don't like them, but
Yeah, it can be good. There's for some reason I forget which one I was flying. I think it's the Warden has the rocket turret on the top that is kind of useless. But if you put a better gun on there, I mean, it's a decent multi-crew ship. If you're just looking for a ship, you can throw like 3 people in and go shoot stuff.
I think it's the Harbinger that has that little extra rocket bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
they call it a bomber, even though it's got dumbfire rockets on the top. It
Yeah.
really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But you can't just replace that.
Yeah.
Those two on the top and put that into lasers, and then you end up getting. I think it has different size missiles.
Yeah, it's an okay ship. It definitely kind of falls into one of those categories. If you're gonna fly around that, you may as well fly around a Super Hornet or something if you want somebody to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That would be my point. Or even that Scorpius, was it the Antares with the EMP and um
The quantum
quantum?
interdiction.
Yeah. So I'm like,
Yeah.
you might as well have that kind of functionality if you're going to do a heavy fighter. And one thing I've always been slightly annoyed about is this is a bespoke type little
No, yeah,
size
the nose gun.
one, or I think is it size two?
Yeah.
Ballistic gun. Um, I'm not really interested in that myself. You can't change it, so it's always been like a question mark of why do I want that. It does have an interior. The wings do seem prone to breaking off, which does annoy me.
And beware the
In
bathroom
battle.
unless they fixed it because sometimes you'll just fall right to the floor.
Oh, yeah. It is there it is available to fly in game, but it does have those problems.
So
Yeah.
one of my first times stepping into that ship was a Warden, and we were exploring the ship in Quantum, and my friend stepped into the bathroom, and I guess the collision on the floor in the bathroom just doesn't exist, and he just got pooped out into space. It was funny as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
yeah, a lot of it's one of the older heavy fighters, which is probably part of the problem. It hasn't had its gold pass. None of the components are interactable inside of it, other than just what's typically there. So there's a lot of these older ships, just like the Reclaimer we said earlier, that needs to have their gold pass. They have finally started working on the Reclaimer, so maybe we'll get around to some of these ships as well to kind of get them up to spec. So
yeah, I think most people just use these right now just to they buy a CCU to it, um, just because they know it's not going to get any work on it anytime soon, unfortunately, and it'll be available at every ILW, so they can build their CCU chains on it. But otherwise, I'm personally not a fan of the Warden or the Vanguard. But yeah, So those are the Aegis ships that we're gonna see. Um, I don't think we're gonna see a new one coming from Aegis. I don't.
The
Am I
Paladin
missing something?
is that an Aegis ship?
Oh,
I forget. There's two in
yeah, I think it
concept.
is.
One of them's the Paladin. I think that might be, if we're gonna get a concept this year, it'll be that one.
It's yeah, it's can. I think it's supposedly based around a Valkyrie, but
Yeah,
none of that's confirmed.
it's supposed to be
Um,
a gunship version of like a Valkyrie, basically. I think is the idea.
yeah, I think that's is that even Anvil though? Isn't that?
It might be Anvil. I can't remember.
I get that. I
I
think
get
a
those.
lot of people get
Yeah, I
those
get
mixed
those
up.
two confused all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, it is
Uh,
Anvil. Okay, yeah, yeah.
oh.
So we'll probably get more of that on this year. We'll come to that whenever the day approaches.
So we'll see. Day one. Day one's going to be Aegis and Greycat. I think the focus is going to be on what that Greycat vehicle is. Um,
Could be a chance for some LTI stuff too. So we'll keep an eye out for that because they did do LTI vehicles. Like I mean, I got the Pulse at LTI, and
yeah.
just like in our last episode, like we recommended, if you're looking for starter kits or ship upgrades, look for those LTI tokens. You get one for cheap for a new vehicle and upgrade it to something you want, and boom, you got that LTI token ship.
I think we might see some movement on Idris, maybe more holes available. I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
Um, the Javelin, I don't think anyone's expecting anything too radical with that. On, I don't even know if they'll let us buy it.
probably not until after
Yeah,
Squadron 42 comes out,
yeah.
if that, because that is also another one of the ships that's a major part of that game.
I am hopeful for the Nautilus on something. I guess that I'm not hopeful for it, but I'm gonna have hopium for it. For some statement on where this thing is at.
Right, yeah.
But
I'm right there with you
yeah.
though. I like the idea of the mind gameplay.
So we'll see how those goes. But that was Aegis and Greycat. Let us know in comments what you are looking forward to from ILW. Maybe see where your thoughts are. I've been Sage. You got anything?
No, that's it for me. I'm pretty good here.
All right. Well, I've been Perseus, and he's been Sage, and this has been Outbound
Outbound.
Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Have a good night, y'all.